Vintage Clinic 1101. I'm Matt.
I'm Vince.
And you may remember from the last episode, we were working here on Vince's 1950 Ford, and we were able to determine from our last episode that we did not have spark. And probably the reason for that was the spark plugs were old, and Vince has decided to go ahead and get brand new spark plugs, brand new wires.
What we're going to do, talk real quick about, is we've identified the fact that we need new spark plug wires. In many cases, you can buy pre-measured wires that will specifically fit your vehicle. In this particular case, especially with older vehicles, it's not too common. So what I've procured here is what they call a generic set, and it's a generic set of spark plug wires. It comes in different lengths, but you'll have to cut them to fit. And what I just want to show you here is what they look like. They come again in several different lengths, and they'll come with the corresponding boots that you'll have to install and crimp on the end, and we're going to demonstrate that in a little bit. What I want to do real quick is to show you the process for measuring these wires. What you want to do is, since they come in different lengths, try to allocate the wires, the shorter wires for the shorter runs, obviously, and the longer wires for the longer runs. But either way, you're going to have to cut these down and cut back the installation before you put the conductor tip on. And if you look over here, simply start from your distributor, and we're going to go to the very first plug right here. And since it's such a short run, it's only about 8 inches long. What you want to do is measure from the distributor to the spark plug itself, and this doesn't have to be exact. You want to give yourself a little bit of extra room to play. And what I'm going to do is just take a marker and mark that right there, because that's where we're going to cut. And I'm going to demonstrate the same thing with a longer wire. If we were going over to the other side of the engine block, we're going to measure from the distributor. And I'm going to walk over to the other side. And if this is going to be on the last plug over here, for instance, it would need to be this long. We're going to mark that. And that's where we're going to cut this wire. So you can see how much extra they give you just in case your application requires it. And then we're going to go and get these crimped up. Just try to demonstrate for you the cutting of the wire, the spark plug wire, the installation and crimping of the conductor tip, and the rubber boot, installation boot. It's a tedious process, and I'm trying to speed through it as much as possible, but if you don't feel comfortable doing something like this, seek out a pre-cut set of wires, and you'll eliminate this entire process. But it's something that's both fulfilling and enjoyable if you like this type of work. Again, we had pre-measured from the distributor to the spark plug for this particular one, the length, and we had marked it. So I'm going to cut just above this mark. And again, remember, this end goes to the plug, this end goes to the distributor, and what the manufacturer of these wires give you is a separate boot and a conductor tip. So we've cut that, and now we're going to peel back the insulation. The manufacturer here requires that the insulation be peeled back 5/8 of an inch. So that's approximately 5/8 right there, and then we'll remeasure. Be very careful when you follow this, go through this process, that you don't damage this insulation right here, this conductor wire. Now, what I do, put a little soap on the wire itself, and that helps with the boot process. Just helps it slide. it can be a little tedious. And it's starting to come through right now. Okay, I want to pull this through. Give yourself a little working room here. And now we're going to put the metal conductor tip. Again, we're going to measure this to make sure that we've got 5/8 of an inch. I've got a measuring device here on my crimping tool, and it's a little too long, so we're going to cut that back right there. There you go, 5/8 of an inch. Bend that wire back according to the instructions, and that gets placed in the metal conductor clip. And you can crimp these with a regular pliers, but in this case I've got a spark plug crimping tool. Not required to have it, but it does make for a nicer crimp. It's a tedious process, but one that will give you some satisfaction, like I said. Almost there. There you have it. One crimped spark plug wire. Now what we'll do is gently pull this boot down again with a little soap. Helps it move. You don't want to pull that all the way back in. Because that end will actually fit into your distributor, and then the boot will slide over top of the cap and seal it. Can you see that? And there you have one crimped and resized wire, and we're going to do that for the other 7.